If you can discover, something about yourself and, what you're doing in this world and why you're here, because of whatever thing I talk about here, then my goal has been achieved. I will try my best to be the person that helps you speak the words that you couldn't find. All right. So your purpose for living in this world is not going to be the thing that actually makes you feel complete. Right. So, all right. So let me get into that. And while I'm talking about this in this podcast coming up, and my name is Mike. If you haven't met me already, I am a financially, entrepreneurial, financially minded person that finds himself to be a bridge between one person's idea to them finally attaining that goal, and also the bridge for somebody's understanding between what the world is telling them and what they were telling themselves and where they belong within this world. Why is that? It's because I am I guess, the middle child when growing up of three kids in my family. And I've always found me to be the one that could always see both sides of every story, the both sides of every circumstance. But I often do find myself also not being completely satisfied with the mundane and the normal and the good enough, mainly because I'm also in my own search of the true purpose and meaning of life. And, talking about that in these kind of videos here, and is my reason for doing this channel. If you can discover, something about yourself and, what you're doing in this world and why you're here, because of whatever thing I talk about here, then my goal has been achieved. And that's why I do what I do so far. And please stick around with me in this podcast, and we'll hopefully get to touch on some things that would make you kind of, hopefully, realize a certain direction, destination, the reason why you're doing something, or change your destination even because of something you didn't realize that you didn't really know that you were doing. So yeah, let's talk about all of that in this video or in this podcast coming up. And if you guys want to see me live while I'm doing these podcasts, you can go over to YouTube and search for Live Your Limit. And yes, that name is up for debate, by the way, but go to Live Your Limit, Live Your Limit. And we'll talk about why I chose that name as well. But subscribe and, become a part of the community, that community that I am building and working on building. So I know that you have something to say, and I do too. And hopefully, in you watching these kind of videos, I don't know if I can make a promise to you, but I will try my best to be the person that helps you speak the words that you couldn't find. So, all right. So let's get to it. So what in the heck is Live Your Limit? Why come up with this channel? I had this idea in my mind of us living in these bubbles, walking around, and just living these mundane lives, normal lives, which is, by the way, mundane isn't necessarily bad. It can be bad. Especially in the sense that if you are not knowing that you're living that way, if you are intentionally living a normal, just like whatever normal everyday, I get up and do this is what I do because I'm a creature of habit, and I am deciding because I need to have my peace of mind. This is the way I live, and that's fine. There's no judgment there. But if you're living in a certain way where you find yourself living a mundane life, and you don't realize it, there's something underneath, there's something, there's more to life. There's more you can be doing. That is what I'm talking about. That's who I'm talking to. And that is where Live Your Limit comes in. So Live Your Limit is basically what I had in mind was everybody's living in their own safety bubble. Okay. There's a safety bubble that most people don't want to go outside of because it's not safe to make yourself vulnerable to not only other people, to realizing that you are inadequate, right? So that's what we're all trying to avoid, is that ability for us to be able to see when we are less than good enough to be considered a person that should be even alive, right? And I know, but it's not to that extent, like always in your mind, but that's what we're kind of searching for, is the proof, like the purpose, the thing that we're doing. Oftentimes, if it's like it's not like an everyday tasks, it's the reason why you woke up today, right? It's the reason why you keep going forward, and it's the thing that all of us are kind of searching for, that purpose, right? But if you are living within a bubble, you're not going to fulfill that purpose, and you're not going to ever push yourself to see the value that you hold in this world. And you're always going to be searching for something to give you the ability to see your value, and nothing around you is here to show you how valuable you are. You can only see that by claiming it, by understanding your value, right? First of all, and knowing that because of a God who created us, we are inherently valuable. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Like, if you can understand that, if you can know that you have value because you being here, that there's no doubt. So let's get that out of the way, okay? So going outside your bubble is going to allow you to push yourself past your comfort zone, okay? So the bubble we live in is the safety zone of us never really, pushing the limits and doing something that would be outside of what would be considered normal, okay? So what you would think normal, what your friends would think normal, what your mentor, your mom, your dad, whatever it is, they would think, hey, why are you doing that? That's never going to succeed. And they could be right, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Why are you even trying to go do that? What do you have to prove? And I think that's the whole point. It's actually the opposite. It's you're living outside this bubble because you don't have anything to prove, right? Like, you want to push the limits because I don't have to prove to anybody that I am, not dumb, you pushing the limits, you pushing yourself a little bit further to do the thing that's scary is not you just living in an unsafe and unwise way. That's you wanting to become better. And I believe that if we push ourselves to become better by pushing our limits, finding the thing that scares you, emotions even can be the thing. And you going and, like, if you're faced with some sort of emotion, like for me, not wanting to do this podcast, it's the emotion that I would feel if I'm coming up against something. If I'm really looking at that emotion, the emotion is telling me that this is just going to be another way for you to show yourself and everybody else that you can screw up. It's another way for everybody and the thing is you're looking at other people to be able to validate whatever it is you're doing. And so they're going to see, they're actually a mirror of what you're showing them. So you are showing them something, okay? And what you see from people is a mirror of what you're showing them. So if you see something about yourself through what other people and how they're viewing you, that's because that's what you're showing them, okay? Just to make that clear. Now, some people are bullies. I'm not talking about those kind of people. I'm talking about the people that are around you, that you're surrounding yourself with, right? So sometimes you're going to have to take yourself out of that situation, of those people that you are actually around. And that the problem with that too is the fact that, well, you think to yourself, if I'm not going to be around anybody and I can't, have friends that actually are worthwhile being around, because they're doing stuff that I don't approve of, or they don't encourage, and they don't necessarily have to encourage, like in the sense that they need to tell you, hey, you're so amazing all the time. No, it's more of, hey, are they happy when you are? Are they in any way emotionally draining you somehow for some reason? Do they bring in certain negative feelings, negative thoughts constantly? Are they struggling with something that they probably need to get over, and you happen to be the one receiving whatever the negative effects are of what they decided to you know do the day before, right? So whatever negative thing they had to deal with, is it coming back on you? That kind of thing. So you have those friends around you, and now you're gonna have to say, okay, well, I have to find a new group of friends. But most likely you're not going to do that. You're most likely going to just draw in and be separate, or be alone, and that actually is something that is not very good as well either, to be by yourself, which is eventually you're going to see this studio of just in my garage, with, propane tank behind me, and, coffee behind me on this thing, trying to make it look like it's inside of a house, in this little shelf, and with Cade 6 up there from my Destiny and Destiny 2 days. You see all this here, and I don't want to be solo and by myself doing this stuff anymore. So I'm going to be pushing myself along with you to be able to surround myself with friends, people that are having a same goal, people are on the same level, so we can just feed off of each other's energy, and I want to find great people, like the person that I want to be, right? So we can all just become great together and create something. And I think my goal in doing videos like this is to be able to discover constantly the purpose of being in this world, and the value that you see yourself having in this world, and understanding that we don't need to make huge choices, huge decisions to be able to find purpose. I believe that knowing and being comfortable with the decisions, not the decisions, being comfortable with knowing that if you aren't successful in the way that other people would see you to be successful, that you'll still be successful in yourself, knowing that the value you have on this world is not determined by external sources. But because you have that solid foundation, you're going to show so much gratitude and love to yourself and other people around you that it's inevitable that you're going to grow something amazing, right? And that's the thing. And that's what I want to grow around me here. And I want that to overflow and be able to affect other people in their lives, and be able to help them decide, hey, should I go on with this entrepreneurial journey, or should I take this other path? Should I be doing this or whatever? And I don't know if there's a should I and if there's a correct answer. All I know is that you're going to find gratitude and happiness and purpose in anything, as long as because it's going to pour out of you, as long as you have a solid foundation and understanding that your existence in this world, the validation of your existence in this world isn't earned, right? Because it just is. And from there, you get to go and experience an amazing, amazing life. So, and the thing is there's other ways to look at this. There's other, obviously it's there's going to be problems. There's going to be ups and downs. You're not going to always remember to feel that way. You're not going to feel grateful when something bad happens. That's just how it is. But it's not going to be the thing that reinforces that underlying truth that you feel like you have, in the fact that, oh, well, of course this happened to me because I've never really accepted the fact that I have value outside of my performance in this world. Okay. So that would be a problem for you if you, you know, so let's move on from that. And so if, and live your limit. So the bubble is your limit. Okay. So all of that, everything that I had just talked about is, it's our safety bubble, and living outside your limit is you pushing, is you, allowing yourself to, experience what might feel a little bit dangerous, what might feel a little bit scary, but in a good way, not like something that is going to be, hurting you, harming you somehow, emotionally or physically. So, and the thing is if you consistently live just outside your limit, like your safety zone, okay, you're going to eventually expand what that bubble looks like. It's going to be huge. It's going to be just like, and you might even be able to include people in that bubble with you, right? And I feel like that's kind of the idea is if you live your limit, there's technically no limit, right? Because it keeps expanding. And it's kind of hard. It's safer, it feels like, to keep people outside that bubble, because the reason why might be because of the people that you have let into your life already, right? And you might not want to let people, inside your safety bubble, because every time you have let somebody in, they kind of get around in there and they start to expand it past your comfort zone, or they try to shrink it down on you, to be able to make you feel even more trapped. So that could be a problem. And people don't do this. Some people might do this on purpose, but other people don't do this really on purpose. Because here's the thing is, when somebody sees that you're being successful in whatever situation you're in, it helps them see themselves as less valuable and less, and have less purpose and a reason for being alive in this world. And therefore, you're actually mirroring back to them what they don't want to see, because it's bouncing right off of you, and now they get to see themselves in the situation where they're in. And they don't do that on purpose. It's unfortunate that you have to step aside. If you're trying to grow yourself in these early stages, you're going to have to realize when those kind of people are around you. And it's not that you're better. It's not that they don't deserve to be, in a position to where they can succeed or see themselves as valuable, because they already are. They don't need you or anybody else to see themselves and to understand that they are valuable. But there's going to have to be a point where you're going to have to limit the exposure to those kind of people, I believe. So I don't know when that point would be, but it's going to have to happen. So now let's say you're a person that does not have anybody around them, like me. And it's by choice. It's because of my own choices to not have the friends that I would need around me, so we can continuously lift ourselves up. But this is me saying right now that anybody that is watching this, do like I'm doing in this situation right here. Put yourself out there to where there's possible people that you could be a part of, go into conversations where you don't understand really what they're talking about, but you understand that their intention in this life is to live out their unknown potential, but they know that there is a reason, for life and for what they want to do, and they want to see great things, and they're a person that's driven to because of their happiness to be alive in this world, and they're not so concerned with all the things that are negative around them. That would be finances, job related problems, politics, maybe religious, whatever the problems are at all, that they're not necessarily affected by those in their drive to move forward in life and to live out their existence and to fully grasp what it is that they could possibly do in this world, because they do understand already that they have a reason to be alive. They don't need to validate it through their actions. They don't need to have validation through the way people see them and how they see themselves through other people's eyes, and all that kind of stuff. So that is my goal to going forward, is to put myself in rooms like that. And I don't know how to do it. I'm sorry. I'm not sure exactly how to do that. It might be in going places where people are, I don't know. Maybe put yourself out there in places where you normally don't go. It might be places like Starbucks, talking, to people. Be willing to, if you're standing in line somewhere, say hi to somebody, ask them how their day is going. You're maybe need to be turned into a certain kind of person that allows themselves to be seen and isn't too absorbed with their own lives. And at that point, I believe there is a chance that you will start to draw people in to what you're doing, like what I'm doing here as I'm talking right here. If somebody else hears me and I'm not just like talking gibberish, if they believe they understand what I'm saying, I'm trying to be as clear as possible, because there's all kinds of things going on in my mind, like I'm sure you're in yours too. And I'm trying to go outside of what just an idea is. It's more of a way of life, and we need to live this life together with somebody else. There's a whole bunch of different reasons why, but I do want to grow this, and there is a financial aspect to this kind of conversation and this kind of gathering of people that I want to have. The financial stuff will follow when I develop myself into a person that completely understands what it truly means to not have to prove that existence is validated through our actions, like right now, what I'm doing right here. Because if there was no proof needed in the fact that what I'm saying here, if there was no proof needed, in my validation to be able to do this at all, then me going on here and talking about anything at all is going to be free-flowing and easy to do, and make sense and have a bunch of meaning, be something that actually helps somebody, and all that kind of stuff, because all the background stuff that I've been thinking about, the things that want to hold me back, aren't going to be there. And then, so they're not going to be there for me. They're not going to be there for the person listening. And there's hopefully going to be a sense of freedom that could be potentially obtained by, the group of people that I want to have around me eventually. Everybody working towards one thing, doing the same thing all together, which would be so awesome. So the only way that I believe that can be done is if somebody doesn't feel the need to see the proof and validation of existence through external factors, from what is performed, performing, doing the things that, you go on YouTube and you see somebody talking and you see how they're so good at thinking and how they do all that stuff. And you wonder, if I could only do that, then I would see myself as being valuable. And then we go to try to do this thing, and then we see imposter syndrome. What is imposter syndrome? Like, that's totally it, right? That in a nutshell is imposter syndrome. The fact that you're living in a way that you don't believe is true to yourself. Like, you don't think you belong in that position. And maybe it's because you don't. Why? It's because you don't truly see yourself as being validated outside of you doing that activity. That's why. You're looking for validation of existence and purpose and in external things. You're not just accepting it for what you have already right now, right? So I don't know. You're saying, Mike, it's not so easy to claim that. Like, you can't just claim that all of a sudden you're just valuable because I exist, like I was made. Okay, then what's going to allow you to feel like you should be here? What's going to allow you to feel like you exist? What, you going to actually make $1 million in this new business that you created? So, like, what happens when it's no longer about the making the business? It's no longer about making the money. It's no longer about, making sure that your kids have food on the table. All of that stuff is going to be fulfilled if you are actually doing something, even though no, you're doing those things already. No, you're doing those things. If you feel like you have your reason for existence and your purpose is only validated because you are existing, like you are here, you were put here for a reason, like you were put here because you are valuable. That's where your value lies, because of the fact that you are here in existence, and therefore you can go ahead and live on and do everything else that you want to do. You're not going to look for all those other things that you're trying to do. The $1 million job, the amazing business, this crazy amazing career. All those things are going to be great if those things aren't going to be validating your existence, right? You're never going to feel like, wow, I'm so glad, like I did this. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy, because that's all I needed to do in life was show that I could do that. And for some people, that might be true because of their anger that they have at somebody else telling them they couldn't do it. And for a certain kind of person, that would work most likely to a certain extent. But eventually you are going to be so bitter, most likely. I don't think it's ever going to be, you're not going to ever be satiated. And so what I'm saying still holds true. You have to find your value in this world by understanding that your existence already places a tremendous value on the fact that you are here at all and can have a life at all. So when you establish that, that means that you can move forward and do anything that you possibly want to do, because it's flowing out of you, right? It's like the success or whatever is just flowing out of you, and you have gratitude. And at that moment, when you are a big entrepreneur, you have lots of money, almost zero problems. You bring in like 90 or 80% profit at the end of the year. Everybody that works around you is so happy. And you're not going to be looking back at all that stuff and looking at okay, well, what if this fails one day? My identity lies in the fact that this is what I've created. In the back of your mind, you're always going to be thinking, what if this fails? All this goes. And then the person you see yourself to be is going to go with it. I believe that is the why money, the power we give it, has so much power, and it allows it has the ability. We give it the ability to be able to decide if our lives are valuable or not. And some people don't get to live long enough to be able to see what I am talking about right now because of the value they put on money. It's an idol. It's the thing that they have decided gets to decide who they are. And when they don't have it, obviously they don't get to exist anymore. And if you don't believe that is the truth, then I recommend looking at history and what it is that happened when people lost millions of dollars in the stock market back in the 1930s and 40s. What happened? So, that is a good example right there, and it's unfortunate. A lot of that happened back then, but nonetheless, that is basically, everything that I want to challenge you know, my ability to be able to uphold this aspect, this outlook, because I'm going to be tempted and you're going to be tempted to put your effort in the driver's seat of what it is that really allows you to see your value constantly. I believe it's the thing that will constantly try to put itself in the way. If you're a man, the thing that is going to you're going to want to claim identity from is the thing that you do that other people see, and the position that you're in and how you see yourself in that position. And that is dangerous. And that's what I want to challenge on this channel and in any business and or in any organization, that the value that we have, it does not sit in our ability to do something. The value that we have in ourselves, it only relies on the fact that we see ourselves as valuable just because of existing in this world. And because of God, our creator, deciding to make us. If we weren't valuable, we wouldn't be here. And that's all there is to it, right? So therefore, you have inherent value in this world. So, yep, congratulations. You have gained like a mindset and a vision into what life could truly feel like, with gratitude and just being grateful that you are alive. That's it. But the thing is that wants to be stolen from us, and everything that we do and everybody around us constantly wants us to prove who we are. And we can feel it. And it's not like they're not doing that. They're doing it. Some people might be doing that on purpose, prove to me who you are, right? Prove to me that this is truly what you want to do. I don't think that you're really, altruistic in whatever this is. Yeah, right. You just want money. Don't get me wrong. I do want to make money with doing something like this. And you should be able to feel like you can make, an income with doing things that would actually truly help somebody. And that's what I want to do too. So it's not completely altruistic, meaning I'm doing this only because of the goodness in my own heart. Nope. But I do care about, what happens with other people in their lives, and the way they see themselves, and the challenge that other people would put on, other people. They put on each other to be able to validate their existence in this world. Because I feel like that might be the thing that it always holds me back. Like, what is your purpose, Mike? Like, what is it? If you could only discover what it is that you were put here for, and what is it that you love, what is it that, what is the thing that will actually make you happy? And I think these things to myself. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It could be this. I'm good at this. I'm good at making coffee. I'm good at, I'm good at that. I'm good at talking with people. I'm, but then again, I don't have any skills. Like, what could I go do? And I believe all those things will come to you when you are grateful and accepting of the fact that you are value. You have value. You are valued because of your existence in this world. And it starts there, I believe. I could be wrong, but I really don't think I'm wrong. I challenge me on that. But it could be that if you are in a position where you're grateful in that situation, that what you should do or could do will naturally come to you. And that's where this comes. That's how I'm doing this right now. So I'm already proving that, and I didn't write any notes. I don't have anything here. I know I have something to say. I know that the outside world around you and I is constantly looking at you. You feel like it's looking at you and saying, what are you going to do with your life? How are you going to show that you really, like, there's purpose? And how are you going to, show us that you deserve to be happy or exist, or, whatever it is? And I'm not saying that if you've been having thoughts of, end of life in your own terms, kind of thing, where I say get mental help from that or with that. If you're thinking that way, I'm saying that, there's an inability to be able to exist harmoniously with yourself in your mind, and the things that you do. You'll be lashing out and be angry possibly, or sad all the time, or need to be put on medication, or live a shorter life because you can't go out and exercise because you feel like, what's the point, you know? Anybody like myself, even sometimes I'll sleep a little bit longer because I'm like, hey, why get up? No, it's not why get up. It's what do I get to experience today, because I'm excited and grateful that, this life is here, and I'm going to fulfill, that, because I'm grateful in the fact that I was created by God, put here to do something. And that is what I'm doing here right now, is I get to come here and be with you guys and get to talk about, this thing on my mind. And it's always the thing on everybody's mind. It's the, like, no matter where you are, no matter what position you're in life, like, in business or a job, or, whatever position, or not doing anything at all, you're always determining your actions and your value based on what you think other people are seeing, but also it's mostly what you see, because you know what other people don't see about you. So it's hard to, it is hard to know exactly what you should do based on what other people say, because deep down that they don't know truly who you are. Okay. And the person that you might be talking about, that they don't know truly who you are, that you would say, oh, well, they don't see that I'm this way. They don't see that I'm this way. And they could be right. Or you could be right about that. And they wouldn't be saying what they are saying if they did know that. That's true. But the thing is you are saying that because you're looking for value in how you see yourself by the actions that they think you should be taking. So that's the problem, is you could be doing something and you're not. You could be taking an action and you're not. And you're wondering, well, is it because I could never do it? Is it not the right choice? I could never do that because my kids are relying on me. My wife needs me to do this. It comes down to fear, right? All those things could be true, but you could start somewhere to start whatever it is they think you could do. There could be truth in whatever it is your friends or somebody is saying, hey, you could do this, and you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, but you have that instant feeling of imposter syndrome, right? Imposter syndrome, what is that? It's like, you're like, of course, they would say that because they see me in this way, because this is who I know I'm showing them. You know who you're showing them in that situation. And they're like, yeah, you could do that. And yeah, but you're like, this person that I'm showing you is fake, right? So you'd be fulfilling an imposter situation. But why are you showing them that kind of person, right? And it's because you're not accepting in the fact that who you are does not have value based on how you show other people who you are. It's not based on, how you see yourself. It's not, it's your value is based on the fact that you do exist. Again, I'm going to say it again. God, our creator, made you to be here on this earth. He put you here because you are valuable, right? Not because of what you're going to do. And so he created you to to worship him, to be here, to love him, love yourself, treat others as you would want to be treated, love others as you'd love yourself. And that's what I'm doing here with you. You know, if I'm going to love myself enough, I'm going to push myself forward. And if I love you enough, I'm going to push myself forward to reach out to you, to help you see, you know, what it is that you're doing, right? Whatever correction you could be making. And by the way, I have been that person that is showing other people somebody else and showing them, even if it's not on purpose, right? Because you like to feel like you're validated in this situation, but you go away from it thinking, dang, if they only knew who I really was, right? Not really thinking that way, but that's kind of the underlying feeling. And if you walk away from a situation where somebody sees you because of what you're showing them, you walk away, and you have to walk away with the person that you know you are. You get to leave the person that they see with them, right? And that's what feels bad. But now is the time to start moving on and making yourself the person of gratitude that understands that they're here and they get to exist in this wonderful world because they're made graciously by God, and they get to just live life truly, with gratitude in that fact that you don't have to go perform. You don't have to. So now you're free to go ahead and go live out, push that bubble a little bit, whatever your comfort zone is. Start pushing it, make it a little bit bigger. Maybe there is somebody else that you can let inside your comfort bubble, possibly. Maybe there is somebody. And it might not be the people that you have been lying to yourself about too. If you're around somebody and you're like, yeah, you show them this kind of person, not that you say anything to them. It's just they see a certain kind of person, okay? And you've been showing them this person for some reason, okay? Whatever it is, somebody that is somebody other than how you see yourself. But if they are the kind of person that allows you to be able to feel like you don't have to prove anything, right? You're both in search of something great. That's the kind of person I believe you would want to be around. So hopefully that helps you guys with, deciding on what you want to do with the future. And let me know in the comments if this resonates with you at all and what I'm saying. And I would like to go forward with doing more with this. I want to get more people around me that are wanting to be great and understand their value. It does not rely on their performance in this world. Their performance, it just proves like that there's amazing things to be had, right? It just proves that we are living in an amazing world, right? It's just God has made this amazing place for us to be able to be, a lot of opportunities, and we are going to be there to be able to enjoy those and to be with other people and enjoy their whatever their progress or whatever their accomplishments are, So accomplishment is not bad. Accomplishment is great, and we get to celebrate that together. It's just not the thing that gets to determine your value. It doesn't get to determine, the thing that the person that you see yourself as being valuable here. And because that is, I've already pointed out, and not a solid foundation for anybody to ever, your ability to do is not a solid foundation. As soon as you can't do, or as soon as you want to stop, you're not going to be able to, because that's where your value is. That's where identity is. And women do it a little bit differently. It's the people that they surround themselves with, the friends they have, allows them to be able to determine the value they have. Thus, it means that when they're together and they work in groups of girls and other women and stuff, they find value in that, and that could be kind of dangerous too, because So women, you don't need other people to be around to be able to see value. Your value is here now, in the fact that you were created. Okay. So men, you don't need to be able to have something that you're doing to be able to show value. Okay. But the people you are around, women, are going to be amazing because of the value that you see that you already know you have, and they already know they have. Your time together is going to be amazing. And men, don't continue to do things just because you want other people to see how valuable you are, so therefore you can see how valuable you are. No, don't do it. Now's the time to stop. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. My name is Mike, and this is Live Your Limit. Take care. I'll see you soon. Talk to you soon. Bye.